And I'm going to hand it over to Tony. Thanks for joining us today, Tony and Laura.
All right, thanks so much, Jamie. Hopefully you can see my slides.
I see them, yep.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. First off, thanks, Jamie and CPD for putting this together. The Outer Institute has had some great presentations, and we're happy to be part of this. First off, Tony DeFranco. I'm with Suny OER Services, and just a few things I want to talk about regarding the services that we offer before I turn it over to my colleague, Laura Murray. So Suny has a ready-to-adopt catalog. Many of you are probably already familiar with this. It's at oer.suny.edu. We feature over 120 high-quality OER courses, and we see adoption requests come in nearly every day for this. It's been very popular. Our partnership offers 4 different courseware packages. You're going to hear about one of those today. Depending on the type and set of tools that you want to use with OER to support the type of learning experiences you want to deliver. So there's Candela, which is an ebook platform that's based on Pressbooks. OHM is the online homework manager, which is a flexible homework system for math and other quantitative courses, and of course, Waymaker and OLI, personalized and adaptive platforms. And we really have a large network of partners. Again, you're going to hear from one of those partners today. These partnerships allow us to provide critical external supports and offerings. They allow us to really leverage existing services in Suny, such as help desk support from Suny Online Support Services, of course, Suny CPD for training and other professional development activities. Suny Press, they provide publishing and print services. And of course, our other key partners like Lumen Learning and the Open Learning Initiative at Carnegie Mellon University. Really, our overall goal with these partnerships is to increase the success for Suny students in their classes, whether that's in a face-to-face mode or hybrid or high flex or fully online. And currently in Suny, with collaboration from our partners, we've served over 650,000 students who have been enrolled in at least one OER course. There are over 2,600 faculty in Suny who teach with OER. We've offered over 17,000 OER course sections. And thanks to the support we've received from New York State, we've saved students and families about $47 million in textbook costs. So we're pretty proud of those numbers. But of course, we couldn't do that without the help of our partners. This session will focus on how personalized learning courseware can be delivered in various formats, with a particular focus on Waymaker. And here to talk more about that is my colleague from Lumen Learning, Laura Murray, who is the Director of Learning Solutions for New York. And I'm going to stop my share and turn it over to Laura.
Thanks so much, Tony. I might end up shutting off my video at some point just because I'm getting that dreaded unstable connection, of course, as soon as I logged in and got ready to screen share. So hello, everybody. What I want to do is jump right into a show and tell of Waymaker. So I'm going to jump right into a screen share. I chose Blackboard because right now Suny is still predominantly a Blackboard shop, but all of our courseware will integrate into any major LMS, including D2L and Moodle and Canvas. So what I want to show you is how Waymaker is so flexible. Waymaker is the one platform offered in the Suny Ready to Adopt catalog that does not have its own LMS platform. It can only function within your LMS. And the import process is really very straightforward. You just choose import package view logs and select the zip import package file that I most likely would deliver to you. And you can request those through the Ready to Adopt catalog. There's a form you just fill out, and that form comes to me or to my partner in Suny, Alicia Van Buren, who covers some of the campuses. So you just go to wherever you downloaded your zip file, and I set up a little zip file package here of Intro to Psychology. And then the process is the same for all LMSs. You just select the content that you want to bring in. So we're going to bring in content areas, discussion boards, and grade center columns and settings. And then submit. And then Blackboard is super great about importing, but overall the import process only takes a few minutes. And so we see that the import is complete. And just a quick refresh of the browser. And the link to the content appears on the sidebar. So now the entire course package of our Intro to Psychology Waymaker course is here and available and ready to use. What I want to do is right now flip to our demo version because it has some student data in it, and go over how you can align our content with a syllabus and use it in all modalities. So the great thing is you can use all the Blackboard tools to move folders. You can drag them around. You can rename them using the edit features. You can delete, you can hide, you can use all of the Blackboard tools to rearrange content. What I like to recommend to instructors is to take a look at our course learning outcomes and put them side by side with your syllabus. And it's a really quick exercise in determining what you might want to keep, what you want to move, and what you might want to delete. And we do offer this detailed spreadsheet of the major learning outcome and then all of the sub outcomes as well. All of our Waymaker courses come with 2 folders. Just for faculty, the course contents, as we just looked at, and faculty resources. And the faculty resources are there to help you in as many ways as possible. So our faculty tools has an automated messaging feature. And that's where you can set it up so that students will receive automated messages that reach out to them and remind them that they get 2 attempts at all the quizzes. We'll look at those in a minute. It also sends out positive reinforcement messages when they reach a mastery threshold on the quizzes. So they're great communication and engagement tools. We also deliver a pacing guide to help you in setting up your syllabus, offline content access in the form of an accessible ebook. We also deliver PowerPoints for lectures that you can download and edit any way you want. We group all the assignments together in one place and have assignments with solutions. If you want to build your own assessment, you can use our question banks. And then there's a link to I Need Help, so you can reach out to our support team at any time. We have a really quick turnaround. Let me go back to the top level of content. So I have a checklist here I made for Tony. Yeah. Okay, so what I'd like to do is just quickly go over the structure of how the course works. So again, it's designed to be used fully online or face-to-face or hybrid or flipped classroom. And nationally, we have our Waymaker courses being used in all of those modalities. So if I click into a folder, minimally every folder is going to have a study plan and a quiz. And these are accessible via 2-way secure LTI links. So you see that they're web links. The LTI has been configured on all of our SUNY campuses that are using these courses. And the students will interact, and those interactions go back to our server, and then our server can deliver grade return back as well. The thing I love about the integration as an instructional designer is that our discussions and our assignments come in native Blackboard format. So right here we have a discussion, and you can go to the discussion forum and you can edit the discussions the way you would any other. We send recommended rubrics that can be set up. So they're all here, they're all fully editable. You can use them, delete them, rearrange them. And it's the same for assignments as well. So when you go into the assignments folder, fully editable, use what you need. And you can deploy the assignments where you want them to go. Just move them out of this area and put them in the module folder where they can be used. Little delay here. Here we go. So the way the study plan works is it's a digital interactive textbook chapter. That's the best description I've ever heard of the whole process. Every study plan has a get started, dive in, and finish strong section. And the get started is designed to stimulate prior knowledge and engage the students emotionally in what they're about to learn. So there's a lovely little intro, why it matters. And then that flows right into a pretest, which is a show what you know. The purpose of the pretest is to personalize the study plan. But again, as I said, it's also there to stimulate prior knowledge as well. And this is not graded. This does not go into the gradebook. Only the learner sees how they did on the pretest. But its whole purpose is really to get any concepts that may be lurking there already in the learner's brain stimulated for learning. And I won't go through the whole one, but you can see the process. And at the very end, they will see the completed show what you know. And they will get to see the answers they got correct and the answers they got incorrect. And then they will have personalized messaging in what we call the learning outcome tiles here. So you can see if I finished the show what you know, I didn't get many answers correct. So I have a needs work notification on each of the tiles. And so then the next type of assessment that the learner is going to encounter are interactive exercises. So everything's organized in small chunks. The learning objectives are stated very clearly using action verbs from Bloom's taxonomy. And as quickly as possible, we get the learner into learning by doing with interactive exercises with immediate feedback. So at this point, they've had one formative, non-graded assessment in the show what you know pretest, and then they got feedback at the end of that. And then with these interactive exercises, they get immediate feedback. If they don't get the answer correct and they don't understand why with the feedback, they can just scroll back up, review, try again. This particular course has a glossary. And again, learning objectives as quickly as possible, learning by doing. And that's based on the research that we did with Carnegie Mellon, that learning by doing is approximately 6 times more effective in terms of comprehension and retention. So right away. And again, these are not graded. They're just for the learner. And I like to point out, we also have an improve this page button at the bottom of every content page. So if your students or you find any typos or outdated information, or have any recommendations for improving this page, you can do that. And we have a team of people who are reviewing them and continuously improving the courses. So the process of working through the study plan is very active and rich. And it keeps the student engaged, always thinking, always checking understanding. And then each of the major learning outcome areas or tiles culminates in a self-check. And the self-check is also a formative assessment, but they do get a participation grade. They get points for finishing it. So check your answer, you get immediate feedback. And they range in length from 2 to 6 questions. So as soon as I, the learner, hit the finish button, I get some points in the gradebook just for doing the self-check once. And then it's going to recommend, if you don't get the questions correct, they'll get a needs work recommendation, and they can retry the self-check, and they get new questions. And of course, you notice that the review material is right there as well. And I won't get more points for doing the self-check over and over again. I only get points for doing it once. So we call it the participation grade, and it's the very first assessment that actually shows up in the gradebook. So after this very interactive experience with immediate feedback, with self-checks, with different formats of learning, then it's time to review using putting it together. And then they can go right to the quiz if they feel ready for that. And the way we organize the quizzes, so let me go back to where the quizzes live, which is in the module folder. The way the quizzes are organized is that students will get 2 attempts at every quiz, and we do consider these to be learning quizzes. We strongly recommend that the quiz and the participation grade for the self-check be weighted at no less than 20% of the overall grade, but that leaves a lot of room for meatier, high-stakes assessments for you, the instructor. So in the quiz instructor view, you can see that each student has 2 attempts and the instructor can grant more. It's here that you can actually see the quiz scores for the students. The instructor has access to the full question bank. So the quiz pool in this particular quiz is 58 questions, but the quiz itself is going to be a subset. And it's going to be a randomized, algorithmically generated subset so that no 2 students are taking the exact same quiz at the same time. And they will not be getting the same questions if they decide to take the quiz the second time. So that first attempt at the quiz can be characterized as a practice quiz. And if for any reason, when they take the second attempt at the quiz, they get a lower grade, the higher grade will be maintained in the gradebook. So this is the only summative assessment. There is not feedback until the very end. And they do have to finish it in one sitting. So it's not an assignment. They can't save it and come back to it. Once they start the quiz, they have to commit to finishing it. They can't navigate away from it or refresh their browser or do anything that's going to interrupt the actual engagement with the quiz. So you can see as a practice quiz, I scored 21%. I see where I need to study, and I can scroll down and I can see where I got the answers incorrect. But all it does is it points the students to where they need to study, because Waymaker does not want learning to the test. They don't want memorization. And the next quiz is going to have a fresh set of questions on it. So at this point, the student can review the quiz, but they cannot save the quiz results. Again, the next quiz will not be the same quiz. There's no reason to save the quiz results. But if for any reason the instructor wants to look at a particular quiz with their student, they can click through here in this column under quiz scores. And please let me know if any of this isn't clear describing the whole experience. And again, you can use the Blackboard tools. So even though this is a web link, you can change the name of it. You can put due dates in. You can use, you can change all kinds of things on this. If when instructors are setting up the course, and if they're not sure about deleting something, you can make them unavailable. But I do warn people, if you're not familiar with the Blackboard Gradebook, then if you make something unavailable, you do want to make sure that you go into the Grade Center and edit the column in the Grade Center to make sure that you pull it out of the calculation and you've hidden it from students, because that's not going to happen automatically. Those of you who know the Gradebook know what that's about. So looking at the Gradebook, you'll see that in this course, discussions come in weighted at 10 points. The quizzes come in at 20, and the study plan comes in at 5. The study plan grade is going to build with each self-check tile. So if a self-check has, there's 5 self-checks in the study plan, then the grade is going to grow 20% at a time until every self-check is completed. But because the import allows bringing in the grade center columns and settings, everything is already here for the instructor. You can copy our content as you would copy any other content in Blackboard. So that's really helpful going from semester to semester. If for any reason we do a major course update that requires a fresh new import, we do reach out to instructors. We never pull the plug on an older version of a course. We do reach out to instructors about new updates, and I'm available, and we have a team of support available to do a fresh import whenever that's required. Couple of tips: 2 Waymaker courses cannot function in the same course shell within a learning management system. And the faculty tools dashboard is not only there to set up communication and do automated messaging. So you see there's a little on button, and there's a setup communication wizard that quickly walks instructors through setting that all up. But there's also, and let me try and get some student data pulled up. Just have a little bit of a delay here. Okay, we'll try again. So here you can see the 2 grades that matter the most to the students, which is going to be the quizzes and the participation, which are those self-checks in the study plan. So you can see a top level of quiz scores, participation scores, and then when you click in, you can see where the student set his or her goals for the course in the first assignment, and you can see the individual quiz scores, the number of attempts, their participation scores, and then you can drill down even further and you can see what they've actually completed. So whenever a student has a question about their grades, or you're checking to see what's happening, this is a really quick way to see what their activity is for just those 2 assessments, the self-checks and the quizzes. And you can also get a look at some of the behaviors if students are doing 2 attempts at the quiz, and they may do it a day apart. That means that they are taking some time to study. There is a little speed bump if a student takes the first attempt at the quiz, and they try to jump right in and kind of gamble and take it again. There's a little warning that says you should stop and study. You probably don't want to take your second quiz attempt right away. So that's this can be really helpful to instructors. Okay, let me just look at my list to make sure I'm covering everything I wanted to. So I would say challenges for Waymaker and Blackboard is the Grade Center, as always. The Blackboard Grade Center is really sophisticated and powerful, but there does have to be a certain level of understanding about how to edit the column information, about how to use manage, and to make sure that every change that's made to the content is also reflected in the gradebook as well. And then what I wanted to do before Tony and I start taking questions is talk a little bit about the other platforms and what that integration looks like. So as Tony mentioned, we have our online homework manager, and that's OHM. And OHM is its own learning management system, but it also fully integrates into a learning management system. So instructors have the option of sending students to the OHM LMS and using our courses. So we're looking at financial accounting here in OHM. But you can also use our export feature, and you can export entire course or select individual items to export. So there's a great deal of flexibility there in OHM. And then when you do the integration, it looks very much the way it does in OHM, but it's not necessary to send students to another LMS and another sign-on if this makes it easier for both the instructors and the students. And it's used in a variety of ways nationally. Many instructors do send their students to OHM, but the integration, as you can see, is really tight. And again, depends upon LTI to exchange the information back and forth between our server and the LMS. And then for OLI courses that come out of Carnegie Mellon, they also have their own LMS platform, very user-friendly, and it has some great features for the students, and it has some great features for the instructor as well, and really great interactive exercises. But this interface is where all the students will be going, and they'll be working in the Carnegie Mellon LMS, which again is really straightforward and engaging to use. And the instructor has a roster, a grade book, and so you're able to have a lot of control, and it offers a rich set of analytics as well for seeing how the students are doing, and messaging and engagement. You, though, do not have to send the students directly to the OLI platform, though, and you can put an LTI link in a Blackboard course shell. So it offers single sign-on for the students. So if I, as the instructor, want to use an OLI course, I personally would send you all the instructions you need and help you get your course set up. And then you can put an LTI link in Blackboard or any LMS, and the student can click on that link in order to get into the course, and then they'll be working in the OLI platform LMS. Okay, so I covered a lot of things very quickly. And Tony, is there anything else you think that I should go over?
I don't think so, Laura. I think you've covered everything pretty comprehensively. We did have one question earlier. Someone asked about the quizzes, and we answered that in the chat. So I don't know if you want to take a look just to clarify if I'm mistaken, but I think I'm correct on that.
Yeah, I minimized everything. So there we go.
Yes, there is an LTI for OHM as well. In fact, that entire
Yes.
courseware will import into your learning management system, correct?
Yes. So when we set up, when anybody wants to use Candela or Waymaker or OHM, we deliver the credentials for all three all at the same time. So once somebody's using one of our platforms, then the LTI will be supported on all of them. Okay, so they are told where to look for the answer to the quiz, but not the answers. Yes, that is absolutely correct. So the whole philosophy of Waymaker is a growth and mastery mindset. And so everything is done to avoid students falling into the trap of trying to just memorize without actually understanding. Any other questions?
I think you covered everything, Laura.
Terrific.
Thanks, Laura and Tony. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about, or are we done for today?
No,
Yeah,
I
and I mentioned
just,
this at the beginning of the presentation. Sorry, Laura. I just put in the chat the website address where you can actually peruse these different courses, Waymaker, OLI, OHM, and Candela, just to see what they look like. And if you do decide you want to request one of these courses, as Laura mentioned, she can get you that pretty quickly, but it is oer.suny.edu.
yeah, and since we have a little bit of time, Tony, let me just quickly share the live catalog. So when you click into any course, say that you wanted abnormal psychology, you get the course information page. And again, I apologize, it's always a little slow when I'm screen sharing. And on the course information page, which hopefully will load in a second, there's an explore this course form that you fill out. And that form will either go to me or go to my colleague, Alicia Van Buren. So it's not going into some nameless holding place or somebody who's just going to mechanically deliver the form to you. It's actually going to individuals, and we're constantly checking for your requests. And when you get the form from us, the form fulfillment, it'll come with instructions and a link to our calendars so that we can show you how to use the courseware effectively. And we want to make sure that you're really comfortable and understand everything, whether you're just trying it out or whether you're going to pilot it. So we really pride ourselves on individual support and as much high touch support as possible. And I'll point out one other thing here. What I love about, one of the many things I love about our content is it is true OER. So when you go to the views course content link, you are actually looking at the public OER view of the course. And anybody in the world can use the content. It's not the full course with the study plan and all the quizzes, but it is the course content and it does have assignments. And it's part of our commitment to OER and serving the global community by giving away the course content for no cost.
Great, thanks to both you, Tony, and to Laura for sharing this with all of us today. I hope that you all take a look at the library. I can attest to Laura's quick response time when you have a question about any of the materials. We were doing some work together this spring and she was always right on top of it. Very helpful. So take a peek and see, see, I'm not the only one, Laura. It's Trisha.
Thank you.
Amazing. So I encourage you all to take a peek, and they've done a couple presentations for us over the years. So if you want to take a look at the CPD YouTube channel, if you have any other questions, they had some presentations with faculty where faculty were talking about that too. So if you want that perspective, you can get that there as well. So without further ado, then I'm going to stop recording if that's all right, and we'll end our sessions today.